Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming back at you with a Wargaming miniature video. In this video, we're going to finalize and end our Quatre project update. This is the after action review. This is the convention synopsis. Okay, so I'm going to give you like a play-by-play. That's kind of what I want to do and just let you know what happened during this NashCon event. For us, well, we got on the road around 9:30 or so, right? Stopped, got gas, ate some McDonald's, and continued on. And we made it to the convention fairly early. I'm going to say we got there probably around 11 o'clock in the morning. So even with the getting on the road at 9:30 and eating and gas and everything else, it took us only about a maximum of about an hour to get there. No problem finding the place. Been there before. Couldn't remember, but Mike was a good navigator, so we got there no problem. Okay, so we basically we checked into the hotel, which he already had done through a phone app, and we got our room keys, went and dropped off some of our junk, and then we went into the main hall. Well, we checked in, got our badges and all that stuff, which I would have to say, I don't know what I did with my badge. Oh, I threw it down in there. Here, give me a second. All right, I'm back. I just wanted to kind of show you the NashCon badge. Look, hey, look at the glare. No, let's see if I can't get a good picture on that. NashCon 2018, there's my name, and I'm number 39. This badge holder, I would have to say, is top-notch. I like this badge holder. This just comes right out of the top, and you just slide it in. I thought that was pretty awesome. I mean, I thought that was pretty impressive. Now, I like the old World War I planes flying around. I wish I knew that this NashCon had a World War I theme, because if I did, I would have ran some kind of World War I game instead of the Quatre. But we just decided, hey, let's play some Quatre. But we decided that back in February. Okay, so I do want to let you see that I've been going to NashCon quite a long time. Like, here's my 2009 badge. Wait. Can you even see 2009? Yeah, see 2009. It says 1989 to 2009. I don't know. That's a long convention. No, but I'm not that impressed with the badge. I mean, I don't mind the little Tennessee flag and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. And there's a spot to put your number, but they never put a number in there. Hold on, let's go back even further. NashCon 96, baby. That's right. I've been going to NashCon since 1996. Well, let me back that up. I've been going to NashCon and saving the badges since 1996. Who knows when the first time I went to NashCon. I went to NashCon before I joined the Army. That would have been well before 96. Because, yeah, I probably went to the 89 one, honestly. Okay, so I like the new badges better. Thought they were really cool. Mike was like number 9, maybe number 6, something like that. he was up there. Okay, so we get our badges. I thought about buying a T-shirt, but it didn't say I went to NashCon and all I got was this T-shirt. But I thought about buying it anyway. But we didn't. Okay, so we went in, we filmed a little bit of the tables that were out set up on Friday, right? So you, as it's on my Facebook. No, it's not. It's on the video that I did right before this one. I showed like some shortcuts of some of the games that were being played on Friday, right? But after the initial get there, walk around, check out all the dealers, because we had like an hour to kill before the first game session. It was like noon or 1 o'clock, so we had a lot of time to kill. So we checked out all the dealers, which had quite a few dealers. I was pretty happy with the amount of dealers that they had there. miniature building authority was there, warlord was there, cigar box battle mats was there, and there was a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were there. There was a lot of Wargame miniatures, historical. Can't remember them all, but there was a lot of dealers and some terrain people selling a lot of terrain, like trees and buildings and stuff like that. And then there was guys selling. There wasn't a whole lot of figure selling going on, historical wise. Anyway, it seemed like it was all the people that were selling miniatures were selling sci-fi miniatures. So I saw a lot of Warhammer. I saw a lot of BattleTech. I saw a lot of Rumble Slam and Deep Blue Sea, or whatever they call that game where it's under the sea. Deep Down Under, or whatever. I don't even remember what the game was called. But there was a lot of people selling sci-fi stuff. I saw some anime models being sold, some BattleTech, some Star Trek, Star Wars, and I didn't really. There was only Warlord. Now they were there, and they had their historical like bolt action and black powder miniatures, but the selection was like very low. So I was kind of disappointed in that. But the number of dealers was pretty good, I thought. I just thought there would be a better variety of dealers, or that the dealers realized that this was a historical miniature gaming convention and they would have brought historical miniatures. But hey, what can you do? It's not like I still had the war room open and I was still running my game company and I was a dealer, because I would have thrived. But okay, so stepping back after that, right? So we decided we're going to jump into this game. We jumped in a game called Nicaea, right? I think that's what it was called. And it was a Rum Turk versus Crusaders game using the rules Triumph. Except the rules he was using was called Grand Triumph, which I guess is at a different level, strategic level instead of a tactical level or something. But I've never played Triumph, so I said, what the hell? And Mike got in there with me, and we played a game against some guys. They whipped our ass. They just kicked our bony little butts off the table in like 1 hour. Maybe it was an hour and a half, but still, they went. So the Crusaders crushed the Rum Turks, because we were Rum Turks. First of all, I'd never played that game. Second of all, Mike had never played that game. And our ringer, the guy that was sitting next to me, he had played the game a lot. And so we were kind of relying on him actually accomplishing something. He didn't. Not his fault. It just, the dice didn't go his way, didn't go our way. We kind of knew what we were doing, because we're not slouches. We play all kinds of miniature games. So we knew, okay, move here, move there. And since I was sitting in the middle, and I had the cataphracts troops, I told the guys on the left, I said, do the whole bulls of the horn thing, and then I'll come up the middle, Didn't work, because all the players on the other side were experts at this game. They apparently were in a club, or they are very familiar with the rules, and they play with the guy that was sitting next to us and the referee. So they knew the ins and outs of the rules, and they would take advantage of us, Mike and myself. I don't think they did it maliciously or anything, but subconsciously, maybe they're super hyper competitive, and they would say things like, okay, I move up to this point, and then I would go, okay, well, I'll do that, and they go, well, you can't do that, only I can do that, or they would after I move and get slaughtered, they said, oh, you should have did this because your unit has this ability, and I'm like, no, now you tell me, after my unit gets eliminated. I mean, things like that. I'm not going to go into specifics. But, okay, so we get wiped out. And they say, well, we got 4 hours, so you guys want to switch sides? And you guys play the Crusaders, and you guys play the Rum Turks? And we were like, sure, let's do that. So we switched sides. But you know what we're taking with us? One game experience as Rum Turks, not as Crusaders. So we still didn't know what their special abilities were, and which we pretty much had a good idea because he gave us a little quick reference sheet to look at everything. We didn't know what we were looking at. Okay, but that's okay. We were going to have a good time anyway. So we sat down, and there was one incident in that game that I felt like it was the epitome of poor sportsmanship on the other side. I don't fault him. It was my fault. It was my misunderstanding of what was going on the table that caused me to shoot one unit when I should have shot another unit. Okay, and immediately after I shot this unit, I go, oh wait, I should be shooting that unit, right? Shouldn't I be? And I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and switch the target. And he's like, nope, you've already declared this target, and you already rolled the die. And I was like, dude, really? You're not going to just let me kill that dude instead of kill this dude over here that's totally irrelevant? And this guy's like engaged in my... I didn't even know that was the enemy. Your guys, I've never even played this game before. So I'm looking at that, thinking that was Mike's troop, and it really was the enemy. And I'm like, you're not going to just let me kill that dude? He's like, nope. You made that call. And I'm like, well, technically he's correct. Technically, but etiquette-wise, game etiquette tells me that he should have just let... I'm the new guy. I'm the noob. He's probably gone to tournaments and won this game, and he knows what he's doing. He should have said, sure, no problem, kill that guy. It's all good, you know. It's only it's like a convention. It's no big deal, right? That's what I would have done. Like 2 seconds later, the guy sitting next to me, who's played this game forever, right? Apparently, with them and everything, bites the guy across, you know, he's fighting, because there's three on his side. He's fighting this guy across the table from him, and that guy, our opponent, says, oh wait, do you mind if I switch that target over to here? And the guy sitting next to me goes, sure, no problem, go ahead and do that. Then he gets wiped out. We were having fun. That one dude, right? That one dude was, I don't know his name. Didn't even care to know his name. I was having fun with all the other people at the table. The referee I loved. I thought he was a good guy. He let us decide. He didn't step in and say, as a referee, he should have stepped in and said, you declared it. This is true. And then that would have strengthened his position as my opponent, right? Because that's what he wanted. And I think the referee should have done that just as a referee, or said, roll a die and see who's right. You know, that would have been cool too. But when he just steps back and says, I'm the referee, but I'm going to take my hands away, I think that's him just letting us work it out, which is also the right way to do it. I don't know which is the right way to do it. But I don't know. I left that table with a bad taste in my mouth. The first time I got wiped out, I just chalked it up to being ignorant, you know, like, okay, I'm stupid, whatever. But the second time I lost, and we got wiped out again. Even as the Crusaders, we got wiped out. As the Crusaders, when we got wiped out, we did a much better job the second time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we had pushed the Rum Turks way off the table, but we had just lost too many units doing it. I chalked up that first game as we just didn't know how to play. And hey, that's our bad. The second game, we had a pretty good grasp on what was going on. We still didn't know how to play, honestly. But after that one die roll, I felt like they were taking advantage of our ignorance. They were like using this as an opportunity to pump up their chests, saying, yes, we play triumphant, we know how to play. You know, we're really good at this game and you're not. You know, and I'm like, I'll never play that game. Ever again. You know, not because that game wasn't good, and not because the referee wasn't a nice guy, because he was. Not because the miniatures weren't painted beautifully. Not because it's a ridiculous game. No, it's not a ridiculous game. I just got a bad feeling about it. Because what I'm thinking of is, because they said they played regularly or they play a lot. Back up. In my history, because I've been playing miniature games since, I don't know, the 70s. There's a game out there called DBA. I don't know if you're familiar with it or know anything about it. Debellus Antiquium or something like that. And it was basically the Ancients game. It was when you went to play Ancients, you said, "Hey, let's go play Ancients." And guess what? Everybody had DBA. That was the game. Then the medievals came out, and they started, branching out and going from antiquity into the Middle Ages, and they called that DBM. I remember when DBM came out, right? Okay, so people were playing DBM and some other games because some other people got on the bandwagon. But that game was overly complicated. It was a game that had too many charts, and you had light, medium, heavy infantry, skirmisher, open order, and they gave every troop like these stats. You have them light infantry, but they're closed order, and they're skirmishers, and they're javelin men with shields, and okay. You do have to do that, but just the way the game was written, it felt very mechanical. It never felt fun to me. The game always felt like I was working a spreadsheet. And halfway through the Triumph game, the guy said, "Oh yeah, this plays a lot like DBA." And I'm like, subconsciously, I bet you, I'm just thinking through this, I bet you subconsciously I went, "Oh damn, it's DBA all over again." That's probably what happened. That's probably why I left the table thinking I didn't like it. But it seemed like it was a streamlined version of DBA. And I think the guy that was running it was the guy that wrote the streamlining. I think, because he was pretty intimately familiar with the rules. But I thought he ran a good demo. I thought the game was really good. The terrain was beautiful. On the video, when you're going here, I'll probably show a little. No, I won't. In the video, if you go back and watch the Quatre review, you'll see, or the NashCon review, you'll see early on in the first part of the video where there's a desert map with a castle on the end, a castle wall on the end. That was the map we were playing on, and yeah, that was pretty cool. It was overall, I'd give it a 7, maybe a 6 or a 7 on that game. Okay, now that took us till the evening, and in the evening we went over and played. Because by that time Adam had gotten there, because he got there about halfway through the game, and we went over and we played some Red Blood Skies. We went and played some Red Blood Skies. Now, if you notice, I've got the Red Blood Skies in my hand. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about it. I don't know. You can't really see much of the glare and all that from the camera. Let me look around here so I can see what you're seeing. This is a World War II dogfighting game. This is the Battle of Britain edition, right? It's made by the same guys that do Black Powder, Warlord Games. You know who they are. Okay, so we go over there, and this game only took 45 minutes to an hour. It only took an hour. I think it took an hour. We had two planes each, and there was 11 of us playing. So there was 22 planes in the air, right? And we're all flying our own 2 planes. I was a BF 109s, right? And Mike was BF, and Adam, we were all BF 109s, and there was one other guy. So there was 8 of us, and there was like 6 of them. I don't know how many. There's like 4 of us, 8 planes, and there was like 5 of them? That makes sense. I don't remember, but maybe we had 6. Yeah, we had 6 because we had one guy with Adam over there on the side. So we had 5 players, and they had 6 players. There we go. There's the 22 planes. And so they outnumbered us by 2 planes. No, we don't care. We're there to have fun, learn the rules. That's all we care about. We're not there to win.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
You play to win the game. No, you don't. I played to learn the rules. That's how I played. All those games, I play to learn the rules. So, because I want to know if it's a game that I like. I go to conventions to play games I don't normally play, so that I can decide, hey, is this a good game? Not a good game? Do I want to invest money in it or not? And I bought a box. Okay, I bought a box of. I haven't even opened it yet. You can see that it's not opened. Tomorrow I'm going to do an open box, and I'm going to do a little playthrough too. So that's what we're going to do for you tomorrow. But I bought a box, and then at the end, and in the middle of the game, actually, we're playing, and where he says, we're all close to finishing, and I'm like, this game is pretty damn outstanding. I mean, it's not super complicated. It's not like hyper realistic. You don't have like altitude stands and banking, and I don't need to know how much thrust I'm using or none of that crap. I don't need to know. And so what that appealed to me, the fact that I could probably play with a 2-year-old, but it's a World War II game. I could wrap my head around. There is some strategy there. You don't need a hex map. You don't need any kind of map. You could play this game on a tablecloth, and I was like, ooh, I want this game. So halfway through the middle of the game, I got up and went and bought a box. And Mike said, hey, pick me up a box too. And I'm like, done. So I bought 2 boxes. He's got one, I got one. Adam said, oh crap, I'm going to go buy me a box. So he went and bought a box. That tells you all 3 of us like super dug that game enough to each spend about $50 to buy the box, right? So once we're done buying the box, I go. He at the end of the game, he says, "Oh, by the way, anybody wants to know the password during D-Day was Flash and Thunder, right? And if you say Flash, I'll say Thunder, and I'll give you 10% off." What? We just bought this stuff for like 10 minutes ago. What the hell? So I said, dude, I just spent $100, buying 2 box sets. And, what the hell? He goes, I got you, man. This is Warlord now. They go, I got you. Boom. He gives me George Preddy. Okay. George Preddy is a P-51 pilot, right? And it's got all of his coolness in the box and everything. For free. So this is a $15 box, and I spent $100. So he should have only given me $10. $15. Thumbs up, dude. Okay, so Warlord hooked us up, and then I mentioned to those guys because Warlord had emailed me from England. They said, we're going to have some guys from the States as part of our demo team are going to be there. I need to contact them to get prize support, product support or something, flyer, rulebook, something, dice, so that I could give my Quatre game, because Quatre is being played with Black Powder, which is also a Warlord game. And so I said, cool. So I mentioned it to those guys, and they're like, oh yeah, cool, okay, let us know Saturday, and we'll get you some stuff. And like a dumbass, I didn't talk to them Saturday. I was too busy setting up the table and playing my games. That they probably talked to 1 million people. They're not gonna. Adam's number was almost 300, so he registered a long time ago as well, and he's like number 300 or something. So there was definitely over 300 people there, probably 400 or 500 people, and he's like. I didn't mention it afterwards. I was just unfortunate that I didn't get this stuff Friday night so that I could give it away Saturday afternoon, because I really wanted product support. Okay. End of the game. We're walking back. We're going up to our hotel room, right? Adam's like, hey, you guys want to sit down and play some Blood Reds, guys? I'm like, no, dude, it's 10 o'clock. I want to just go to bed. And not because I was tired. I wasn't. Because I wanted to get up early to get ready for our Quatre Bras game, because I knew it was going to take more than 10 minutes to set the game up, and I knew it was going to take more than, we'd have to have breakfast, and, we have to, all that stuff. So I just wanted to go to bed. So we all go up to the room. We talk all kinds of crap, about various different things. The plates in the ocean, and, the volcanoes and super volcanoes, and I don't know what. Oh, we talked about like Colony and World of Warcraft. We talked a while, right? We didn't actually get to bed probably till about 1. I think that's when I fell asleep. Okay, so we get up, we go eat breakfast. They gave us a ticket for breakfast for the hotel room. It was an awesome breakfast. It was probably one of the better breakfasts I've had in a long time. So, finished breakfast, set our table up. Mike and Adam and I are all moving figures around, getting everything all set up. Guys start funneling in. We got a little sign-up roster on our table. They're signing up. People are signing up. We get it full. Good game. Okay, so then we start running our game. Most of the guys there, awesome. Good group. I think I enjoyed running the game. I think Mike enjoyed helping out. Adam was doing all the camera working. Adam did all the filming and all the still shots that are up on my Facebook. Adam took all those still shots. So there was a lot of fun. There was just a few little issues in the first game that we worked out. There was it basically just went well. I wish I had gotten the prize support, but I didn't. No big deal. And then on the second game, there was a couple of people that played in the second game, like 3 people I knew because I played with in the past other games, mainly Napoleon's Battles. So these guys I were comfortable with. But the other players, we had like 8 players, if not more, playing the second game. Scott, I think is his name. He was sitting right next to me. He was a character. He kept it light. He kept it fun. And I really appreciate everything that he did, to keep the game more like, are you using loaded dice? I could have swore I saw you switch out that number. He wasn't serious. He was, there was nothing like that. Nobody took it as being serious. They were just, everybody was laughing, so everybody was having a good time, right? And I think the second game was a lot better in that it wasn't a competitive game. Like, to me, conventions aren't supposed to be competitive. If you wanted to be competitive, you sign up for those tournaments that they are running, because they had tournaments in the other rooms. If you don't want it to be competitive, these are demo games. These are games where you come to check out the rules, or to check out just the scenario, or just have a good time, roll some dice. That's the kind of game I like to run. And the first group made it a competitive game. One side of the table, I should say, made it a competitive game. The other side just were having a good old time. And because of the competitive nature, constantly questioning every rule that came up. Are you supposed to be this and that? And I'm like, I don't think so. Let's check it in the rules. No, like I originally said, no. And then he's like, but what about this rule? And I'm like, I think that's Hail Caesar, but I've been wrong before. Let's check it. And we did so much of that in the first game that we only got like 4 turns done, right? Which in my previous videos, I was afraid that I was only going to get 4 turns done. But I was super impressed. In the second game, we had gotten 7 turns done. And this is only an 8-turn scenario. And at turn 7, I could look down at the table and say, the French are not going to win this game. There's no way they can get into Quatre Bras. So I told him, I said, it's going to come down to victory points. Let's count up the victory points. And we're like, okay, boop, 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 boop. We count all the victory points. The French win. It was like 13-9. It's not a huge victory, a Pyrrhic victory, or whatever you call it, but it still was a victory. Okay, so we had a couple of one French player stomp off in a huff. It happens, not realizing he was about to win. He thought he was going to lose because they weren't in Quatre, which it was funny. The British players are all like coming up to me, I think we won, and I'm like, why do you say that? Because all the French players are defeated. Because the French players were all, we can't get into Quatre. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. I'm exaggerating my emotions, but it's like, man, no matter what we do, we're not going to make it. I'm like, yeah, no matter what you do, you ain't going to make it. And then I said, okay, let's just count points. Oh shit, look at this, the French win. I thought it was funny. Everybody had a good time. If you watch the video, you'll see that there's a couple of kids playing. They're not really playing. I mean, their dad's moving the figures. They're rolling the dice. At a certain point, I thought to myself, should I let kids play next year? Should I just put adults only? And then I said, well, that means I would lose that one player, hypothetically. And then again, because the guys that didn't know what they were doing kind of slowed the game down. Should I say you have to know how to play the game to play? No. This is a game to get people into Black Powder or any other game. If I run any game, it's to motivate people to get the game. Like, I'll play this, I got the game, right? Because I liked it. If somebody likes Black Powder, if somebody was selling Black Powder, Warlord, okay, if somebody liked the Black Powder game, they might have went over to Warlord's stand and say, hey, do you guys carry Black Powder? You got it over here or whatever? And they might have bought it. And not that I'm the dealer, because I'm not, but what that would do for the hobby is there would be more people for me to play against. Or maybe next year somebody runs a Black Powder game and I get to play in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I play, and that's why I teach, because I'm selfish. I mean, really, that's what it is. Now, back to the kids. There's a couple of kids. They were kind of disruptive, honestly. Kicking their feet, knocking stuff, bumping stuff. But I think they weren't doing it. I think they're just like hyperactive, I don't think it was malicious, or they weren't trying to be mean or anything like that. Those kids were great. Those kids were some good kids. When the game a couple years from now, let me back up. Hopefully those guys will be miniature gamers, right? I understand that they're there with their dad, and their dad's making them play or making them roll dice, or they're probably begging him to roll dice. Like, hey, can I roll some dice? I want to be the guy that does the thing. Which, that's because they're kids, and they want to be with their dad, and they want to hang out, right? I get that. But if they have a good time playing a miniatures game, then maybe they'll become miniature gamers, and that'll keep the hobby going, and they might be painters, and they might do all this stuff. So I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Awesome. I'm glad I had that disruptive players. And even with those two little kids being disruptive, we still got to turn 7, and that just tells me that these guys were having a good time. The other table was the first session was just too caught up in the ins and outs of the scenario and not just having a good time. Maybe a couple of them were. I can't read all their minds, but I just had a feeling that people weren't enjoying it as much as the second session. The second session was just kick-ass. Okay, so you see that in the video. After that, we go to dinner and we come back, but we decide we're going to play in the Bolt Action Blitz game later in the evening, right? So we go in and we see we see the table. It looks awesome. They got the Pegasus Bridge out there, and they've got, you know, the beach landing, and they laying it's like a 20-foot long table. It was pretty cool. I didn't get to see how it finished. I just saw them setting up all these tiles and putting the bridge out and stuff, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I saw the guy that was running it, old friend of mine. He used to own a game store down in Nashville, like when I first started miniature gaming up in Nashville, and then I've seen him every couple of years. I'll see him doing something here and there, and I'll just say, "Hey, man, what's up?" We're not like close friends. We're not like buddies on Facebook or anything, but we're good friends. I would say we're friends. We're not hostile against each other or anything like that, right? So I said, "Oh, cool, you're running the game. Awesome, great." And he goes, "Oh, you want to play? Come on in." And you know, here, just I'll guarantee you a slot in the game. And I was like, "Awesome. What about my compatriots, Mike and Adam?" You know, and he's like, "Oh man, I think my game's going to be full because we got all these people who are trying to get in the game, but I'll make a slot for you, right?" And I felt good about that, but I also felt bad for Mike and Adam. So it was like, really? I mean, but I've already played Bolt Action a ton, you know, here in Clarksville. So I was like, I was only going to play it because I thought it'd be really cool to play the British and the blah 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 blah. But then I said, you know, and then the way he was saying it to a couple of the players that were there signing up and stuff, he said that he took the rules and he modified them for a convention to make it run smoother. Awesome. You got to do that, right? But I didn't want that. So I said, you know, just take me off the list. I'm going to go over here and play this other game, which just happened to be we played another round of that, which was kind of telling. But and then after that, after a couple of rounds of that, we decided we were going to pack up and go on home, and that's what we did. And on the way home, you know, that we had a little adventure on the way home. First of all, traffic in Nashville is horrible. I'll just have to say that. But then we get about halfway back. It's only like an hour drive, but we get back about 30 minutes. You know, we're at exit 24 or something like that. So we're getting there, and a light pops on, boom, on my dash, and it says the transmission's warning light. I'm like, no, because this car's had some problems, you know, and it's like, transmission light, I was terrified. So we pulled into a gas station, and car was not overheating, wasn't knocking, no sluggishness, the brakes were working fine, you know, the gear was shifting, everything was good, right? But I had that light on, so I said, you know what, screw it, we're just going to pull in, I'm going to stop. I don't know what that light is, so Mike and Adam both have their phones out. I wonder what this thing is. And what we kind of figured out was, because it's a gear with a yellow asterisk, we figured it's probably the gearbox, either overheating or filter going bad or pressure. So we said, okay, let's just set it down, let it cool off, you know, check the levels, pulled the dipstick out, and we said, it's got good transmission fluid. I put it back in and just let it cool off. It was, when I was cleaning off the dipstick, it was extremely hot, but you would expect that to have an engine, right? And so it was like, okay, so whatever, we let it sit. I went and got a drink, a Dr. Fizz or something like that, and it was like first time I ever had that drink, and it was pretty awesome. And then I was like, I mean, actually I think it was better than a Dr. Pepper. I mean, honestly, it was pretty good. Dr. Fizz. And so then we got back in the car, you know, like 30 minutes later or whatever, started up, no engine light, good, drove all the way home, no problem. Dropped Mike off, Adam followed us the whole way, except he didn't. He said he was going to follow us the whole way because he was on his motorcycle. He wanted to follow us, so he followed us all the way to exit 11, I think, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared. Boop! And then we take exit 4 or whatever, and we're making it, and we're almost home, and we're like, hey, isn't that Adam like 2 cars ahead of us? So, whatever. So we got home, unpacked, and I said to myself, I got to edit this video, which I did last night. I did it Sunday, and because I got home Saturday night, and then Sunday night I edited the video, and then Monday night, tonight, I'm making this after action review. And so, my thoughts about NashCon. This is something that Mike and I have been talking about. I know we've waited 40 minutes to get this, but Mike and I and Adam have kind of talked about, like, what do we want to do next year, because we want to do the convention every year. I don't want to play Napoleonics. They talked about in the Black Powder. First of all, we have American War of Independence we could do. I've got those sitting right there. We could do a simple scenario of American War of Independence. We could do Napoleonics if you want. We're not going to do Civil War. Hell no. None of us in the group like Civil War, so we're not going to do the Civil War. Okay, so that's the Black Powder options. We could do a Hail Caesar game, but I'm thinking, I don't know if we want to do a Hail Caesar at this kind of a convention. So we were thinking we were going to do maybe a bolt action game, maybe, because we're big into Warlord. We could even do Blood Red Skies, depending on if the Pacific box is out yet. Because that game's more like an hour-long game, but people don't want to jump into an hour-long game in a 4-hour session. They want to use their time wisely, so they'll jump into a 4-hour game in a 4-hour session. Because if you jump into a 1-hour game, it's over. Now you got 3 hours to do nothing, right? So we might not do that, or have multiple scenarios or battles or whatever, and you get to play 4 times. We're going to play this game, or something. We might do something like that. But we talked about at work today that we might do some World War II, and that way that'll give me a year to build up my World War II collection, because it's actually kind of pathetic. I've got a platoon of Germans and a platoon of Americans, and that's all I got. Or we could do another, because I've said at the table I'd like to do next year another Quatre, but use like more figures or something, but I don't think we want to do that because there was already a lot of figures on the table. 8 players is probably too many, so we were thinking maybe if we do it again next year, we'll make a hypothetical or a demo game where it is just a flat battlefield, maybe trees, and then put 3 divisions on each side, and the players get their division with their couple of brigades or something, and then they, like 2 brigades each or something like that, and they go at each other, just like a meeting engagement kind of thing. That would be pretty cool, but we could do that in Napoleonics, no problem. But I also and World War II doesn't play that way. World War II usually plays with maneuver and shooting and bombing, and I've noticed that bolt action is really kind of set up to be a tournament game, unfortunately, because of the points and all that. So we really don't know what we want to do, to be honest. I mean, just boom, right there. I'll just put it out there. We really know what we're going to do, but whatever we do is probably going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to end the video here, and then I'll let you know if you keep tabs with us on the channel. You'll know what we're going to be doing for next year NashCon. We've even talked about maybe going to a few other conventions in the area, like the Siege of Augusta or Fall In, or who knows what in the local area. But I can tell you that tomorrow I'm going to do an unboxing of the Blood Red Skies. I've been holding off, man. I've been wanting to tear it open, but I'm going to leave it closed. Tomorrow I'm going to unboxing, and then I'll also set up some planes on the table, and I'll show you the mechanics of the game and why I like it so much. Okay, we fell in love with it at the convention, so it's not really. I mean, it is a miniatures game, but it's a little bit like X-Wing, if you ever played that, or a little bit like Wings of War, if you ever played that. But you'll see. It's got flight stands and templates and stuff. So dice, gotta have dice, man. Gotta have dice. Okay, all right, guys. Thanks for coming out and checking out this video. If you got any questions, give me a holler. If you want to see the Google Doc, I think that's in the last video's description, and in future videos I will have my Facebook down there now, because I don't know if you knew this, didn't really tell anybody. I deleted my Facebook. And then I waited a month before I went back in and logged in. And I didn't log in, I created a new Facebook account. So I've got a brand spanking, as of yesterday, brand new Facebook. And I'm linking all my social media to this Facebook, and I'm putting videos out, and it's basically dedicated to gaming, where my other Facebook account was dedicated to airsofting, and I'm kind of not doing that anymore. And I have a lot of BS. Like, I would accept friend requests from everyone. Not doing that. I'm not accepting friend requests from everyone. Anyone. Pretty much no one. But I'm letting anybody see what's on my Facebook. So if you want to check out my Facebook, it's there. And also Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and Pinterest. And where else am I logged in at? I don't know. Whatever. All right, guys. Catch you next time.